Welcome back.
Hey.
It's Memory Leak.
Hey.
Our memories are leaking.
Hey. Oh.
So squeaking.
I just got here, and the first thing you fucking start doing are these goddamn, like,
Nerdcore raps.
Yeah, I can't deal with it. Not right now.
This is the
tired.
Nerdcore podcast.
This is the Nerdcore podcast.
No, but it's adjacent, unfortunately.
It's
a video game podcast. We
Sort
talk
of.
about the industry, the state of affairs, state of the union,
State of our minds.
the state of ourselves,
My fucking back hurts.
state of health.
Yeah, health is dwindling. And it happens when you're 30-something, you know?
You get
Things start
old.
falling apart. My
okay.
eyelid.
Is it twitching?
No, my right eyelid twitches. My left eyelid gets dry and crusty.
There you go. Hell yeah.
I have new marks all over me.
What the fuck does that mean?
A
mark?
I'm stretching, dog. No, I'm a jabroni mark. No, my fucking, my flesh is just deteriorating.
The
so
black spot
don't call it that.
from Treasure Island.
Yeah, sure. Definitely don't call me the black spot.
All right. We've got
fucking,
Geron the black spot. Geron over here.
Fine.
Who am I?
You are Ben.
Say it.
The White Witch tubing, and fucking. I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about. We're kind of just talking right now, which is completely fine. I actually am all right with doing this.
Yeah, it's kind of a slow news week.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks we had things to talk about, and we had to carry those. But now,
Yeah, I mean, real quick
we just
follow
hang
up on
out.
the user thing of the tweet that I sent
Yeah.
you.
Oh my fucking god.
That was very funny to me.
That's it's so embarrassing,
dude, because you know that. Okay, so I don't know who these people are. PC Focus.
I don't know. Who
It's
they
probably
probably use AI to scrape fucking Reddit posts
yeah.
to make articles, which is probably where that came from.
From LinkedIn, it is revealed that PlayStation are strengthening relationships with PCSX2 emulator workers to bring more PS2 games to the PS5. Working with SIE/PlayStation to bring more games from PS1, PS2, and PSP. You know that whoever put this together, whether it was AI or otherwise, are clearly just trying to like twist the knife against Nintendo with the Yuzu thing.
I don't even know if it's about that necessarily. I mean, yeah, it is.
It totally is.
But it's like, unfortunately, to talk about it for the last time, 3 episodes in a row. But oh yeah, holy shit! You're not gonna cut that even if I ask you to. So whatever. I don't give a shit.
Did you ever listen to the episode that we wanted him to cut stuff from?
Did he not cut it?
No, I didn't listen.
Oh no, I didn't listen either. Oh god. Okay. No, but look, he needed to cut that shit because we said some like sensitive stuff, and I don't need that on me. Okay. Okay. To explain, not sensitive like I would have offended anyone directly. It would have just been like revealing things about ourselves that we don't want any random public person to know about. That's the important thing. But look, these weirdos are just people who are into like deep into emulation are fucking crazy. They're fucking weird, and for some reason they're looking for heroes, and you already know how I feel about that. And they're in their search for a hero because they need one for some reason. They can't just do it and enjoy their fucking games and move on. They're like, oh, well, if Nintendo won't hire fans, the emulator creators, which they do.
At least Sony does.
But it's funny as shit because
PCSX2 put out a response.
Their own Twitter account put out a response. PCSX2 is a PlayStation 2 emulator, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we didn't explain that.
It's quite good. I use it infrequently.
It's very good. It works on Steam Deck.
Yeah.
With varying results, but the games that I tested were like, nearly imperceptible.
Yeah, I don't know how to get Virtua Fighter 4 to stop being fucking interlaced, but ripping PS2 games is so easy.
It's true.
I'm just glad I have it there.
You just need a DVD drive.
Yeah, exactly. But
so PCSX2 puts out a response. So there's a bunch of rumors going around that we're updating games for Sony. None of this is true. 2 people who are no longer associated with this project are doing the updates, not us. I hope this quells the rumors.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. It's exactly what we've been saying all along, which points to it. It's like, okay, do the thing, learn, get the
your
experience
job.
as a hobby,
Yeah.
and then take
Apply-
that to the next level out of like
Exactly.
a job, get paid for it, turn it into a your livelihood.
Yeah.
Don't mix the two. Don't shit where
Don't
you eat.
Shit where you eat. Oh my god! And the weirds never figure it out that when these emulator developers are doing their thing, they need to be nameless. They need to be tasteless. No, they need to not be found.
Yeah,
so that
faceless,
when they apply
nameless.
for a job or something like that, and they can put all this stuff on a resume without the dirt on it of like, oh, piracy. Fuck that. Developing an emulator is not a trivial thing to do, and doing that is a really good resume buff. So when these companies now need people that have that experience, then they look at like, oh, you developed this particular emulator and it's pretty good. So can you work with us on an official emulation for our our legacy software on our current platform? And boom, you're good. What am I saying? People are like, oh,
So Sony hired them. Sega hires people like this. But where's the
Nintendo does hire these people.
Yeah.
They just do it without like.
Wasn't
it's
there-
no fanfare on it?
Wasn't
That's
there a guy? I thought somebody had mentioned something about the guy that worked on the Switch Online emulators, and like maybe it wasn't Switch Online, maybe it was just another game that was.
It was probably Virtual Fighter. Oh my god, it was probably like Virtual Console stuff. Is that
Yeah,
what
it
you're
could have
talking
been.
about?
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
the NES Virtual Console stuff had headers. I've mentioned this before, but had headers from the from an NES emulator.
That's right.
From a couple decades ago.
That's right.
But the reason the headers were there was because they hired him to work on them. But
All the rumors were like, oh, Nintendo pirates its own
yeah,
games.
Nintendo downloads their own game?
and then the dude who actually he said there's someone who said that at a GDC like not press conference.
Oh, that's
but, like,
right.
GDC
Yeah.
talk.
The most recent GDC. Yeah.
It wasn't the most recent GDC. This
Was
was
it
a
not?
long time. This was years ago.
Oh, people were just pulling it back up,
but,
I guess.
But that, yeah, exactly. That was that's where that point got made. But then the dude apologized for the incorrect information. I forget who he is, but the guy apologized for the incorrect information. Like basically, as soon as he found out he was wrong, and no one listened. So people kept parroting this fucking
Big corporation takes downloads from.
and then that gets rolled out to when other companies do what appears to be similar shit. So it muddies the water, and it's like, well, the thing's available, isn't it? Like you did the work for free. It's the PlayStation Classic uses the little mini console.
Yeah, it has a wrapper.
It uses an open source PS1 emulator. It doesn't. They
don't credit it.
fucked it up. Yeah, they do credit it. That's
Oh,
how
did they?
people know. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They credit in the. You can find it in the credits in the machine. They made some weird choices of what games to use, like the European version of Tekken 3 runs at 50 hertz. So it's running accurately, but
At what cost?
yeah, it was because Gon is in the game and Gon's a manga character.
Yeah,
Gon can't be
yeah.
in there, but yeah, it's funny, dog. I say people. It's really like a very small minority of weirdos. On
It's
the
just
internet.
the vocal weirdos that
But it's-
haven't actually made or created anything. They
Yeah,
just
it's-
think they're the authority
Exactly.
figures
It's
because
like
they're the
13
loudest.
people that post 13,000 posts a day.
Yeah.
So people read that shit and then they believe in it because they've seen it so much, and it's not it's not like that. But
Yeah.
we say fucking emulators are good. Piracy is not so good. Emulators are great. Emulators are used. Emulators are everywhere. Emulation is used in software that isn't just video games. It's useful for development. It's useful for a lot of different things. That's not the part that anyone gets upset about. Almost, anyone with some sense gets upset about. It's the acquisition of
Acquisition
software
and
to
distribution.
use. Yeah, exactly. Acquisition and distribution of illegal software. And again, it's like, come on, man. If you're get what you get, just don't announce it
Yeah.
at the top of your lungs like a hero. But go ahead.
If I were the Yuzu devs and I were to handle things like the PCSX2 devs, here's what you do. assuming they hadn't gotten slapped down with a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Right. But they're still like flirting with these extremely gray lines that they've been doing.
Yep.
If I were one of the devs at Yuzu and I were genuinely trying to take my experience and turn it into a job, you put all of the skill sets on your resume. You don't have to put Yuzu or any of the branding.
Yep.
And then if somebody asks you in an interview, like, oh, what emulator did you work on? It says you've worked on emulation of our software. It's like, well, you know, it's one of the popular, you know, emulators. You kind of dance around it. You know, you do the little salesmanship. You talk about end user install base. Right. You can talk about all the metrics, the KPIs of what made your emulator successful, the one that you worked on, without naming anything.
And if you need, really, all you got to do is say, oh, I contributed to a pretty popular open source emulator for your hardware, of your hardware. That's it.
Yep.
You don't need to name it, like
That's
you said.
right.
You just say what you did, and if it comes up that they want a second interview and they want to see your shit, show it to them.
Yeah.
At that point, just show it to them. You don't need to
Or decline, either one.
Yeah, you do whatever you need, whatever you think you need to do, but
It's just funny.
Protect yourself, man.
It's just funny.
Protect yourself from the fools, the clowns around you that
Don't
are chasing after fucking Twitter fame and or X fame, whatever.
don't shit where you eat.
Fucking eat. Unless
That's the name of the game.
what you eat is shit.
Ooh. Cop profile.
Yeah, those fucking dog treats scared the shit out of me.
Not real, and we don't need to talk about it.
Wait, they're not real?
No.
Those like dog treats to keep them from eating their own shit? That seems real to me.
Oh, it might be real, actually.
That sounds completely...
I thought it was a joke.
No, that sounds completely legitimate and real.
The branding made it seem like a joke.
Yeah, but saying that it was...
I'm pretty sure the branding was a joke.
What was the branding? Coprophagia? That's what it was for.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a joke. I think that's what it
is.
Yeah,
you're right.
There to treat.
This is definitely real. Wow.
Does your dog need it?
No.
No, she doesn't eat shit. She just rolls her head in it and then brings it inside.
Oof. That was tough.
Was that 2 years ago?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Was that during the
No. It couldn't have been because we had our deck, which just hit 1 year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That feels like it was a long time ago.
I know.
Was that the same as
the
the purple incident?
Oh no, that was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago. Okay. I thought that was the same day, but
no.
Damn, that was
having dogs is hard. They're trying to kill themselves at all times.
That was so sad. That was the saddest thing. We can't talk about it too much, but that was the saddest thing. Nothing bad happened.
It's fine. The dog is fine.
Yeah,
she's downstairs sleeping.
I'm sure you've seen pictures of it.
The other thing that happened was the Mario Day announcement.
Oh yeah, that's right. That did happen. I didn't even think about that. The Mario tennis, golf, and Dr. Mario on Game Boy. All three on Game Boy are out now.
Why do you roll your eyes at Dr. Mario on Game Boy?
Like, the NES version was already there. It's a weird.
Oh, it was,
ad.
wasn't it? Which one did it come out on first, though? Was it NES?
I don't remember. I think it came out on Game Boy first.
I feel like it came out on Game Boy first.
The NES version is probably one of those things where it came out in like 1990.
They retroactively ported it.
Yeah, they were doing stuff like that. Like Yoshi came out in the 90s.
Right.
After the Super NES was out. Which I am down for games coming out on the generation before. As down as people got on, the PS5 getting a bunch of PS4 games. Who gives a fuck? The games work. I don't give a shit. It's just a box to play.
It was simultaneous release, actually.
Oh, simultaneous.
Same day came out on Game Boy and NES.
Okay. Well, then they should have been released on... They should have came out on the Game Boy app immediately.
It is what it is.
I'm sure it probably has 2-player mode that you can play online.
Oh, the link play?
Yeah, but the NES version probably has that shit too.
I would assume so.
It's a weird thing. But for completeness sake,
yeah,
it's cool to have it.
Yeah, like just throw more shit on it.
Yeah. On the other hand, Mario Tennis and Mario Golf are
those games rule.
The Game Boy version.
Those are the Camelot ones with the RPG mechanics.
Right. The N64 games are great, for real. I was playing Mario Golf last week.
I never really played much of Mario Golf for N64.
It's really good. Unlocking characters is tedious because you have to beat this that was weird. You have to beat
my lips are dry.
Oh, I got you. You have to beat this Mario's not unlocked at the beginning. You have to unlock Mario.
Is it all the original characters?
It's not even all. It's like a couple of the original
I always thought the original characters, like, for whatever reason, felt weirder to me on the N64 game than they did in, like, the Game Boy Colors.
Yeah, and it's because they, like, look kind of
They look like they look more like fan characters in
Yeah.
N64. Like somebody modded their own personal OC into the game.
And they named, like, the female character's name in the N64 game is named Plum. It's like, oh,
Plum
it's like,
weirdly like makes sense because it's like Peach.
yeah, that's
Peach,
what I'm
Daisy.
saying, but that's really like fan.
Yeah, it is.
Fan.
It
kind
is
of thing.
very
like,
fan
oh, it's
gamey.
the purple princess Plum, but she's not even a princess. She's just a
Plum,
ass,
a regular girl named
ass
Plum,
person with pigtails and
a regular
she plays
golfer.
Golf. She's actually quite good in the game too because she has a straight shot, no fade or draw. But the N64 games are great. I really enjoyed them as a kid. I really enjoy them now. And you have to unlock characters. I was just going to say you have to beat them in a game of golf.
Oh,
And it
okay.
takes a long time.
You do one-on-one.
Yeah. You do
Oh, a whole game, 18 holes.
Yeah, whole game.
Holy
You
shit!
have to beat them.
Also
in, like,
punishing.
You have to beat them by, like 9 holes. But if
you
it's
fuck
like
up.
traded one for one for every hole, then you get to the end of it. It's like, oh fuck. And yeah, at least
Stakes are high. At least you have save state.
I was gonna say, at least
Yeah.
on Switch, if you really need it, if you fuck up that birdie putt, you can just rewind or load up another state and do it over again.
That's fucking brutal, though.
Yeah.
Like that. I liked Mario Tennis because of the length of the games.
Yeah, they're short.
I
Actually,
feel like
yeah.
now that you're saying it, I feel like that was the big turnoff for me because I think I rented it once and never really played too much of it.
yeah.
I never had it, but I did have tennis.
Yeah, tennis had all like the Mario characters all unlocked. There were
Yeah.
only 2 characters that were unlockable, and then the
Diddy, no, Diddy was in it, or was Diddy
It was Bowser.
Boo.
It was not Bowser Jr. It was Donkey Kong Jr. Actually,
and Boo,
And
right?
Boo, those were
Yeah.
the extra characters, and then you could get a gold stats for all of them.
Yeah, yeah, the
winning
gold rings.
tournaments. And then there was the extra characters, which were from the Game Boy game that you had to transfer
Right.
over using the N64 transfer pack, which was one of the better uses of it because it would bring their stats too.
Oh, okay.
From the for golf, it was probably more important than for tennis.
Wait, did tennis have
Tennis has stats.
transfer
Yeah. That's how you
I did
get the
not
characters
realize
in the
that.
first place. Yeah, you bring your version of those characters
in
over.
tennis?
Yeah,
Hang on,
yeah,
tennis N64. You can bring characters into the game.
yeah. Now I need to make sure I'm not lying to you.
If
quite
that's
sure-
true, I've somehow avoided knowing this, despite having played the game many, many times
Yeah.
on many different systems.
Uh,
This will actually blow my mind if this is true.
But while you look that up, goofy trivia. The issue of Nintendo Power that I have a drawing in is actually a drawing from of characters. It's Donkey Kong and then a character from the Game Boy Color version of Mario Tennis. But funny thing, I didn't actually own Mario Tennis on the Game Boy Color, so I do not know why I chose to do that.
That's funny as
But,
shit.
Um,
The mind of young Geron.
Mario Tennis.
F. I'm trying to find it. Okay. Notable Super Mario games that use this device are Mario Golf, Mario Tennis.
Sort of. Hold on, maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, it doesn't say how it works though. Mario Tennis 64 is transfer pack for characters and courts. Holy shit! Are these the characters you can bring in?
Yeah, that's them.
Yo.
I drew this kid, Alex.
What
Yeah,
the
yeah.
F?
Uh-huh.
I have never seen this before in my
Yeah,
life.
dog, those games were packed. And there were courts you could unlock by doing that too.
That
there were courts
is
you could unlock in the Game Boy Color
crazy.
game. Or no. There were courts you can unlock in the N64 game by using the Game Boy Color. Which they fucked up. They didn't actually unlock them on the N64 app, so you can't get
Is there anything in the manual that talks about this?
probably.
I'm losing my shit because I had the transfer pack from Coliseum and I had Mario Tennis for Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
And I had N64 Mario Tennis. So now I'm like, I had no idea. And I've never seen a game that had these characters unlocked. I've played a save file on at least 10 to 15 different save files of
Yeah.
different people across the years.
The years, yeah.
Never, ever
Never
seen the
heard
custom
either.
characters in there. That is
Yeah,
wild
yeah,
shit.
that is real stuff. Hold on real quick. Mario Tennis GBC appears to have the transfer pack stuff unlocked immediately.
On Switch Online?
Yeah.
That's tight.
Mario Golf
Now I can go
GBC, on
see
the
it.
other hand, only allows you to train your story mode characters in the N64 version. Doesn't seem like the other modes on GBC are unlocked. Huh?
Wait, how does that work? Because I've touched Mario Tennis on the N64 Switch Online. That shit's not unlocked.
Can I say it again? I
Mario Tennis
Yeah, Mario
and
Tennis,
64 Switch
yeah.
Online does not have that unlocked.
Right, it doesn't. That's what I was saying.
Right.
So, as far as it seems, you can't really.
And we know
Yeah,
from Pokemon
yeah.
Coliseum that there's no functionality to
Yeah,
leverage the transfer pack.
At least there's no like hook for that yet. I'm sure they could figure it out because I think actually like emulator devs have figured that out. At least just to flip the flag to unlock the shit.
Yeah.
But
It's a little too like hacky.
yeah,
I feel
it
like
does-
for them to do that.
that is what it would feel like. But here's a save.
Yeah, like demystifies the games a little too much for Nintendo's brand comfort, I think.
I mean, Nintendo doesn't even emulate the fucking controller pack, which pisses
Right.
me off a little bit because WinBack.
Oh, really?
Save states to save it all. WinBack, and if they put
The controller pack as in like the Rumble?
the memory card, that's what they called it, the controller pack.
What do you mean simulate the memory pack?
They don't. If the game had cartridge saves with EEPROM or SRAM, then they work normally on Switch Online, which is most.
I didn't realize
games.
which games required a memory card.
WinBack required the memory card.
So that's how you know.
Mystical Note, yeah, exactly. But they never have, even back in the back on the Virtual Console on Wii.
But I feel like it's a minority of games.
It's a minority of games, but there's still plenty of them. A lot of licensed games would use it. Mystical Ninja Star and Goemon used it.
That makes more sense.
Castlevania used it.
Okay.
Mario Kart 64, that you needed it for the time trial ghosts. There were a lot of games that use the controller pack for.
I do remember
something.
that. I do remember the ghosts.
Yeah.
The ghost data.
And I mean, they have an opportunity on the N60 on the.
That
N64
does seem
app.
that seems easier than at least the transfer pack
Yeah.
to add in.
But even then, like each game could have its own controller pack, like
Yeah.
save set in the app because the save data is like a kilobyte or two,
Right.
and that's nothing.
Right.
So I kind of wish that were.
I
there
wonder
so I
why.
could- Yeah, I don't. I have no real idea
Yeah.
why that's the case. It might be partially because some of these games use the Rumble Pack, and they need a way to switch
I see.
that, so they prioritize the Rumble Pack.
So in those cases,
Yeah.
thinking back or like thinking about how the game's programmed, does that mean that there's essentially like an either or flag? It's like either you can have the Rumble pack or the memory pack
Yeah.
slapped in there.
Because when it like, in regards to the I/O, the Rumble Pack and the controller pack took up the same slot, so they had to send the data through the same port.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming what the Rumble Pack really was doing was getting save data written to it or something
That's funny.
that just told it
Using
to-
the save data slot?
using that kind of
Process.
using the same port. Yeah, exactly. It was just telling the Rumble what to do, like be
Yeah.
on, be off, be soft, be heavy,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean it worked out, but.
That's funny. If that's true, that's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Um,
I miss memory cards. I'll be honest with you. It was easy to just kind of take a save data between places. Now I have to log in, get my
Yeah.
fucking cloud save and shit.
but you also won't lose it.
Huh?
But you also won't lose it.
I also won't lose it. That's true. So
Or hardware fails.
that's true too. Yeah, there's benefits. To both.
I think the benefits definitely
let
outweigh.
me have the memory card and that, or let me use a USB.
Like
flash
choose
drive
one or the
something.
other.
Yeah, just use
A
both.
USB flash drive would be cool. Nintendo would never let it
Nintendo
because
would
that's
never- yeah.
such a vulnerability to expose that.
I mean, you can't even do that on PS5 anymore because it's a vulnerability.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Cybersecurity, it's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, I mean, funny thing, speaking of ripping games, that's how you get games off of an Xbox 360
Yep.
after use in an emulator. You actually.
Isn't there someone on the Wii too that uses a USB?
No.
Nothing? I'm thinking micro SD.
Huh?
Isn't there an SD slot on Wii?
There's an SD card slot.
That's
but
what it
you,
uses,
You can
yeah.
use that to get virtual console stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the Xbox, when they added the game install functionality, you could actually install a full game from a disc onto an Xbox hard drive or an Xbox any drive. So you just put a big enough flash drive in, install it to that, and then take that out, stick it in your PC, drag the files over, do a little bit of conversion work, put it in the right place. You can play fucking Gears of the no, you can play whatever
Yeah.
you have in an emulator. Will it run? No guarantees. I'm pissed Marvel vs. Capcom 2 does not run on Xenia, but whatever.
It's getting there.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I know. because nobody gives a shit about
no
Xbox.
one gives a fuck about the 360 because you can play most of that shit on a modern console anyway, or a PC.
Yeah. Honestly, that's probably why Xbox invested so heavily in backwards compatibility. Because they're like, and it was the original Netflix strategy too. It's like people will take convenience with payment over having to jump through hoops / potential legal troubles to pirate shit. So there's something to that. But yeah, we've talked enough about.
We've talked the fuck out of it.
I want to go back to the Rumble pack.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
And I was wondering, does that like another angle that they could be looking at is like providing the pure unadulterated ROM with no extensions. I don't know why that would be a thing that they would care about.
I mean, it's something they do. They do try to keep. Anytime Nintendo offers a legacy game, I'm calling it that. It sounds fucking pretentious, but you know what I mean. When they offer an old game on their services, they usually try to bring it with the ROM or ISO or whatever as untouched as possible.
Yeah.
And in one regard, I'm
right
assuming
off the shelves.
Yeah, I assume it's the philosophy of, preserve it as is, as well as put as little work into.
Yeah.
It put as
That's
little
probably true
additional
too.
work into it as possible, because who knows what budget they give to these kind of projects. They probably give just enough to be like, make sure it works well.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't even get that right, but that's not here nor there.
Yeah. The other thing that I was thinking about is the memory pack. Are there games that require the memory pack?
Expansion pack?
Yeah, the expansion pack.
Yeah, the expansion pack, like Majora's Mask, is on there.
So, that requires the expansion pack.
Yeah, and and Donkey Kong 64 was on Wii U.
Yeah,
that's right. The games that use the expansion pack, it's just more RAM, so it's easy to just say use more, like flip a switch and say use 8 megabytes of RAM instead of.
I wonder why Donkey Kong's not on Switch yet.
Rare shit.
But they just dumped all the rare shit.
Yeah, but that's why Donkey Kong Country usually takes a
little more
time to
time
end up on Virtual Console, because there was like Killer Instinct stuff in it. And
right.
Donkey Kong 64 has music from like Banjo-Kazooie and shit in it.
Yeah.
It's just, there's, not to mention, I'm sure there's you have to, like Jetpack is in DK64.
Yeah.
And that's technically a Microsoft game now. Now, Microsoft is being really cool about having games on Nintendo shit. And fucking Sea of Thieves is one of the most pre-ordered games on PlayStation 5.
It's really
now.
funny.
It's the first Rare game on PlayStation, and it's,
And
I'm kind of interested in buying it myself now, because I don't.
Have you played it?
I've looked at it. I've never played it.
I'll tell you this about Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
It's boring as shit.
No.
I'm sorry if there's people that like it. I've tried to play that game so many times because I do like the look of it.
Yeah.
I like the weird sheen that everything has.
Yeah,
it's like,
weird,
it looks like a bunch
plastic.
of little model figures like bumbling around.
Exactly.
It looks like it would be good fun. It probably is good fun if you have like a genuine like community or group of people.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games where
It's not good solo.
Interesting.
It's very boring solo.
Well, maybe the listeners can.
Things could have changed.
Form a group.
Yeah, things could have changed. Hit me up if I'm wrong. I could be. It's been at least 3 or 4 years. Probably right around when COVID hit.
Game's
when I
been
last
out for
tried
6 years, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I tried it when Game Pass first became a thing.
Yeah.
It was like the only game that I could download on my PC as part of Game Pass.
Right. Fucking every time. Oh my god. Every time I have a Game Pass subscription, I think about trying it. I just never do. I end up playing fucking.
It's the perfect
Halo.
thing to try.
Yeah, but I end up just playing Halo, which I have. I've played a million times. I'm like, what the fuck? What's wrong with me? But yeah, no. So that case is breaking. I need a new case. You brought up Rumble. I don't even remember what the point was though.
Just thinking about the different features that are either absent or not on the Switch Online service because of Mario Day. That's how we got here.
Oh, right. The Mario Day stuff. Yeah. Did you? You tried the Princess Peach demo? I haven't yet.
I did. I thought it was boring.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's like Super Princess Peach on DS, where I think it's geared not like in gameplay wise, but in terms of target audience. I think.
Oh, I got you.
Definitely targeted at younger kids, entry level, like 2D brawler / action. I guess action game is probably the right word for it.
Yeah.
They've got different levels for each of the powers. The powers are very kind of like do the 1 or 2 things on the obvious prompt and then you're good.
That sounds like another game.
Which game?
Kind of reminds me of like a Wonder World or something like that.
Oh, it is probably like a Wonder World,
but
except
it's
Wonder World On paper, the thing that Wonder World has over this is that you can choose different powers based on the situation.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas this is like you're playing the level with this
With
power.
only that. Okay.
This is we're setting
It's
this for
showtime.
you.
You are in this particular show.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
You're doing the
makes sense.
first act of Sword Fighter, whatever.
Yeah.
It also like it had micro stutters for me,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I was
mean,
like,
that's Unreal Engine games on Switch do that.
is it Unreal Engine?
Yep.
You saw the whole thing with the Super Princess Peach that they're like hiding who the developer is.
Yeah, it's good feel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What else do they do?
Good feel. That team did the Yoshi games, like Yoshi's Crafted World and Woolly World. They did.
Do they always make games in Unreal?
Kirby Epic Yarn? No. But those two, Kirby's holy shit.
Yoshi's Crafted
World was Unreal.
But that game didn't have any weird micro stuttering, did
But
it?
it was blurry as fuck.
It was blurry.
Yeah,
The
you gotta
resolution
pick
was
one.
rough. Yeah.
The
The scope of the game and this stage in the life cycle, it's like for a first party game, I just expected it a little bit better.
Yeah, I think it's probably a game that was maybe it was intended for a different period of time.
It could have been.
Maybe it meant to come out earlier, but
They
for
dusted
whatever
it
reason,
off.
They were like couldn't figure out when to release this game. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe this is it's completely on schedule. Who knows? But on the other hand, oh, they also that team actually did create Mystical Ninja starring Goemon.
They did?
On the N64 especially.
That's really funny.
The head of the company's name is Ebisu something, which Ebisu Maru that's in Goemon is named after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The old dude.
The
blue dude.
The blue, yeah. But on the other hand, we have a date for Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door.
I think I'll get that.
I've been thinking about it too, and I think I'm gonna get it as well.
Yeah.
And I have any excuse to not have to pull out my GameCube.
Yeah.
And portable is always a good benefit.
Never
Always
beat
good.
Thousand Year Door. It's
Okay.
one of the few of that era. I will say I didn't beat. Actually, I've beaten most of the Mario RPGs now that I think about it. I stopped after Bowser's Inside Story. I never played Dream Team
I
or
didn't
Paper
play Dream
Jam.
Team or Paper Jam either. I thought Bowser's Inside Story was great. It was
I
easy.
loved Bowser's Inside Story.
Yeah, it took me a while.
It was
to-
easy, but it had like enough variety
Yeah.
to keep you engaged the whole game.
Yeah, actually,
Good use of the 3DS mechanics or regular DS mechanics.
funny fucking thing. People from Goodfield worked on the.
I will say I was deep in a piracy phase in college.
Yeah,
I didn't play that game legitimately.
Okay.
I did buy the 3DS remake,
Oh,
but I had no money as a poor college student.
Yeah.
But I wanted to play all these cool games that were coming out. I had a Cyclo DS, basically an
Oh,
R4.
Yeah. I know exactly what that is. Yeah.
And the one thing that didn't really work well on it, despite the fact that it's not emulating anything, it's
Yeah.
just playing the ROM, is the mic.
Oh,
was
that-
really sketchy
Interesting.
on the DS.
I know the game had anti-piracy measures that had to be broken, so it's probably
It could have been
had to
something
do
like
with
that.
hooks to deal with that. Yeah.
It could have been something like that, and that's deep in the game. There's like
Yeah.
a Bowser
yeah.
segment where you have to use the microphone.
Yeah.
And I did get it eventually, but it was like it had to be
It was
perfectly fine-tuned.
That's interesting.
So I did finally beat it,
You had to have
and
like perfect pitch to actually do it.
yeah, basically, yeah. It was good as shit. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I had I was working at Toys R Us still when that came out. Like it was like my 2009, so I was almost done there. And so I got a bunch of games on discount, and that was one of the games I got. And I was just doing a ton of other shit. It was I was in college. I was working on transferring to because I was at Nova at first. I was working on transferring from there out, and I was using my youth to go all around the place. I was playing fighting game tournaments. I was doing this and that and shit. And I had sat it down. So when I picked it up a few years later, I was like, oh, I could have breezed through this shit.
Yeah.
You know what you can't breeze through though?
What?
The second game. Partners
No,
in
my
Time.
God, I fucking
Partners in
hate
Time is
Partners in
fucking
Time.
ridiculous.
When anybody tells me that Partners in Time is A, good, B, their favorite Mario and
Yeah,
Luigi,
it's-
or C, that they want a port of it, I just completely tune out any other opinion they have. Because
That's
I'm sorry, Ken, it's not a good game. It's such a grind heavy
Yeah, it's
slog
grind
fest
heavy.
of like not escapable or missable like random battles that are over and over and over again.
And your big attacks, your bros attacks, or the equivalent, are tied to items. So if you run out of those fucking items, especially in the final boss, which took me 3 hours of just enduring it to do. When I beat it, I was like, "Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck is over?" Because I had to do it over the I'd play it and be like, well, I'm not anywhere near dead yet. I don't know how close I am to beating the boss yet. So I just put the DS in sleep mode, go about my day, wake up in the middle of the not in the middle of the night, but wake up before bed, play a little bit. And I remember I was like, this was over the span of a day. I remember I was laying on my bed. No, I was sitting on a couch playing it. I fucking the stars that come out when you beat an enemy in that 3D stars came out. And I literally just jumped. I shook. I was like, huh? It's over? Because I had put the game...
Finally.
The game came out in 2005.
Yeah.
And I had put it off for like 10 years at that point. I was like, God damn, this is too much. And every time I would play it before, I would just give up because my battery would run out.
Yeah.
But...
2005, I owned that one. That was one of the DS games that I owned. I think I probably got it for Christmas or something. I was playing it at the beach.
I got it for Christmas, yeah.
It was the same thing. It was like probably 9 o'clock at night. I was ready to go to bed. And I stayed up until something like midnight.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck is this game? Like, why did this game be the way that it was with fucking Princess Shroob and like just nothing... The level designs were like kind of bland.
Designs were really bland. I remember even looking at the map and feeling like this is like
it's a hallway.
On the bottom screen was like this is feels empty. There's just a couple.
It's an empty hallway.
I wish I couldn't see all of the parts of the game immediately. Even though the first game is really short. I remember my mom took me to work. Yes, how old that game is. My mom had taken me to work, and I just played it the entire time I was there, and I finished it in the day in that day. Like
it's quick.
Yeah. It was like, oh, okay, great. And I beat it like 5 more times.
Yeah.
The game is really quick and fun.
It's easy. And that's was just such a breath of fresh air with Bowser's Inside Story. Like
Bowser's Inside Story is basically the same.
The diversity, like it was easy, you know, like I was like games don't have to be a grind fest. They don't need to check my power level in a fucking Mario RPG game.
I do not need knowledge checks at every turn. I play fighting games. I get enough of that shit. So
I would love to get a resurrection of a Mario RPG title of any kind. I'm not feeling... I haven't played any of the Paper Mario games since the Sticker Star.
Yeah, a Sticker Star, ooh, that soured me the fuck out.
Yeah, Sticker Star was the last one.
And I gave it... I played for like 3 hours of it, and I went to work the next day. This was when I was at ZeniMax, actually. I went to work, and I was like, you like Paper Mario, don't you, man? This is yours.
Take it.
Yeah, like $10, whatever, this is yours. But that was the time where I gave a lot of people games because I was thinning out my collection.
Yeah, that's when I knew that it was truly Jover for Paper Mario and Mario RPGs as we knew it. I remember thinking too, like, okay, I don't love these mechanics. I don't love that everything's tied to a fucking consumable that I need to like hoard like a fucking... It's like the opposite of what I like about RPG designs that encourage you to use things. This one's like, oh, you might need this.
If you get into a fight, that's punishment.
Yeah.
Like fighting was a punishment in that game. And
and then the boss fights. The boss fights is like, okay, guess and check your way to victory.
Yeah, which like, silly sticker is the one to use.
What the fuck is this?
I get the ideas, but I think like the first Paper Mario kind of barely leans into the paper thing. Thousand Year Door has paper in the visuals and some of the powers, like the paper airplane,
the paper airplane,
paper boat.
Paper airplane's so iconic.
Yeah, you just. But and then Super Paper Mario. I should say all the Paper Mario games kind of drag at the end. Super Paper Mario is really guilty of that.
I don't really remember. Actually, I don't think I ever beat Super Paper Mario. Okay. I think the fifth world is when I like something else came out or I stopped playing.
See, the game is good and the game is cool. Like,
I like
the story
Super Paper Mario.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think all those games have a problem where the music in the areas toward the end of the game can be droning and kind of hypnotizing in a way that gives me a headache rather than makes me want to keep going. And that is unfortunate. Like Paper Mario 1000 Year Door has a similar situation.
I agree. I think it has something to do with the way their like philosophy on what makes a game, like how to add challenge, how to add progression in the game, and they think that like by making it harder and like push harder and harder against the player is the way to like make the ending feel more
Yeah,
satisfying.
they add more friction.
Yeah,
But the friction doesn't feel like you're. It doesn't feel like you're being challenged. It feels like you're being tested.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, challenge is a test of your skill, but I mean it's like testing your endurance.
Yeah.
It's just like how much more of this can you take? I'm like, I know we're at the end. Let's just get there.
Yeah.
You don't need to stretch this out. It's a little fucking Mario game.
Yeah.
But
I never felt that with the first or Bowser's Inside Story of the Mario and Luigi.
yeah,
first
Bowser's
Mario and
Inside
Luigi.
Story doesn't drag at all. It does tutorialize itself a lot.
That was the
Tutorials
that
come
was
out
of
throughout
the
entire
era.
game.
That was the whole
Yeah.
mid 2000s though
Yeah.
of all Nintendo games.
I mean, the text was pretty funny. You know, in a fucking like everybody, you know, for
Yeah, the
everybody
classic,
video game kind of way. But that's how all the Mario RPGs tend to be, and they usually like Paper Mario. Yeah, Paper Mario on the N64 is actually quite well paced. It's short and it's
Yeah.
also very easy. Like that end boss is goo goo gaga.
Yeah.
baby easy.
The
which-
bosses, I remember getting annoyed at the last dungeon though. The thing that helps though with the last dungeon
Yeah.
is they show you the whole level
Yep.
through the Princess Peach shit, so you're not like stumbling around, getting
Yeah.
into random fights, being like, "Is this the way to go?
Like,
Is
where
this the
the
way to
fuck
go?"
is it?
Like,
Yeah.
that was a very underrated, clever design mechanic of the pacing of the game that
Yeah.
helps it so much compared to any other sort
Yeah.
of
You-
end of
you've-
the Paper Mario games.
Yeah, you've explored the castle with Peach in pieces between every chapter, so you're just
Yeah.
like, by the time you get there as Mario and you're not sneaking through, you're making your way through because you did the sneaking as Peach. You're so familiar with it that you can kind of just blast your way in, which is perfect because one,
You want that momentum.
yeah, the fortunately or unfortunately named character Twink, passes information from Peach. Peach passes information from Peach to Mario. So it's kind of like you are. It's kind of like you are that character,
Yeah.
and you have the information that was passed between Mario and Peach. So it's like, oh, well, now that I have that info, I can just Mario my way out through here. Cool, great. So, what the fuck else did they announce?
So they announced Thousand Year Door coming
Yeah.
out in May. They announced a second Mario movie.
Second Mario, yeah. There's another Mario movie in the. There's another movie in the Super Mario movie universe. Is the kind of what they said in the world of.
There
the
was
Super
some kind
Mario
of a
movie.
leaked image that got immediately struck down of like a desert area. They're going to do all the rest of the biomes, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's it's a movie about Yoshi's Island.
That's what I would assume too.
Super Mario World.
Yeah,
Yoshi's
Yoshi was
Island.
like barely, or not really even in it at all.
Yoshi was not.
They showed the Melee Yoshi run
they
in the
did
back
like
of the
melee
jungle.
thing, yeah. And then there were no green Yoshis in it.
Oh, that's right.
The
Yeah.
green Yoshi was the egg at the end.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's right. The egg.
yeah. Minor spoiler. That doesn't really fuck the movie up, really. If it does, I'm sorry. But
If it does, you're probably not old enough to be listening to this.
no. But yeah, no. So that's cool. They also announced the Mario Kart Lego, which I will
they
be
did.
buying some of.
It looked fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean there wasn't really. They just kind of showed a silhouette.
No, but like the scale looked correct.
Oh yeah.
In terms of like
exactly,
what I
yeah.
would want to build or like
Yeah.
keep in my house, like it didn't look too big and bulky,
Yeah.
which kind of is a risk with Legos, especially
Yeah.
with the Mario Lego.
Yeah.
Is like the scale sometimes feels kind of
Feels
weird
like,
to me.
Where
Um,
do we put this?
But it also wasn't like a micro machine type situation, so it looked like it would be somewhat drivable to a degree. Like
Yeah.
drivable, I'm
But,
saying in
It's
quotes.
something you can.
Yeah, you can play with, and it'll roll. Yeah.
If anything, I don't want it to like. I'd like not to have to buy all the other Mario sets that have the
Attachable
play
levels.
sets.
Yeah.
I don't need that. I just want like a Mario Kart. It doesn't even have to have Mario or anybody in it. I just want a cart.
Truth be told,
So-
I never really understood the Mario playsets.
It's
It's because I'm not a child.
exactly.
I know.
They're for kids.
I know.
They're for children.
I never like got it though. Like it never clicked for me. Like
Well,
looking at the YouTube videos of like this like dad who's got two kids. He's like, all right, we have all the Mario sets, every single goddamn one. It
insane.
stretches all the way across
That's
our
the fucking
basement.
thing, yeah.
They're gonna go do their thing now, and it's like the kid just like picking up the Mario and like pretending to step on the things,
Well,
and it blinks.
Mario does things based on
It
shit
does
you-
things in
Yeah.
the sense that like you're picking the Mario up and moving it.
Well, it like the
I know
little
the
screen in your
little.
eyes and shit.
I get it.
Yeah.
Like I functionally know what
Yeah.
it does. I don't see the like entertainment value in it, but I'm just like I think because my mind is so stuck on like Legos as models.
All right, Squidward.
Legos as models that like you build it and then like it's there. You know what I mean? You
All
either
right,
dissect
Squidward.
it and throw it into your pool of Legos to reuse
Yeah.
later, or you keep it as some kind of display thing. Like
Yeah.
I've never, the bridge to play thing.
Yeah.
I feel like Bionicle did a better job.
But
I also associate
Bionicle
play.
was so fucking. I'm not gonna go down.
We don't
this
need to
thing,
go down
but-
Bionicle.
Oh my god!
But if
it
you
was
don't
so
know,
good at it.
Bionicle is like
Yeah, people
a trigger word.
Yeah,
Or
people
the opposite
know.
of a trigger word. It's a dog whistle
Yeah,
for
it'll
Geron.
fucking unlock me. Everyone knows.
It's
Everyone who cares.
It
knows.
sets him from stun to kill. No, but I also associate play with like points of articulation.
I understand that.
So that's the other thing. Is like you have this static Mario
Yeah.
that he has an electronic chip in him that
Yeah.
does something based on NFC,
Acts up, yeah. On the
but
support.
it's still just a static block that you're moving.
Yeah.
And you're attributing the imagination to the static block.
Yeah.
And like there's not even motion attached to it.
Well, it's motion that you have to.
Yeah, but there's like
Yeah.
some sets that have like slight articulation and
Yeah.
and motion, but like again, Bionicle, you can like move his arms, so he's like going to do a sword thing, and you can like you can
Bionicle,
animate.
you had gears were like the big thing on a lot of those gears that you would twist and then it would move the arm.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something, and you
exactly.
could Do enough
Like a
force to,
trigger
like,
thing.
knock
Yeah,
masks
yeah, yeah.
off the other figures. It was
Like there's
Bionicle was so
shit that
fucking
you
cool.
can do that really brings them to life. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm getting at here. Is
Yeah.
like in my mind when kids play, or at least when I played, I imagined it almost like animating the characters into a
That's-
scene.
that when I was doing 3D animation, that's exactly how I'd animate shit.
Yeah.
It was exactly like playing with action figures. It was that's what made it so easy. Like easy, I shouldn't say easy. It's not easy, but that's why it kind of came so naturally
Yeah.
when I was doing it, because it's just like playing with a figure.
Yeah.
You move once you have the rig set up properly. You're just moving limbs, putting them in keyframe locations. Hoping they tween correctly, and when a vertex goes shooting off into the distance, you scream, and then you work on your fucking assignment for the next 24 hours straight without sleeping. Okay.
Just like all the white collar slaves in the animation
yeah,
industry.
Oops. The
I feel bad for him, but anyway, so that's mentally where I disconnect from the Mario sets.
so
That's missing for me.
the Mario sets make sense to me as a if I view them the same way the NES games were, which by all means you were just kind of moving a block around using
That's
a
true.
D-pad
Yeah.
and some buttons.
There's just a
It's
two-frame
like-
animation.
Yeah, it's that given to you in the format of Lego, and
That's interesting.
those are meant for kids to play with.
Yeah.
So you introduce Mario to them through these toys. Like there's more gateways into Mario as an IP.
Right. But
Now-
no, that I mean, I totally get it from a
Yeah,
business
yeah.
perspective.
Yeah. So like playing with it is like you use your imagination, of course, and you can't make an NES Mario game again.
It's
You
true.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you create that same feeling through Lego.
That's
through
interesting.
building toys.
For
through-
some reason, I never
moving
made the
like that.
connection to specifically NES Mario.
Yeah. Okay.
But that does. I'm gonna need to go like look at those sets again from that lens.
Okay.
Because that's interesting.
Yeah.
The 3D Bowser, the big fucking Bowser set,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
thing is good.
Yeah.
That thing's real good.
Fucking God.
Big fan of that.
Yeah.
I didn't get it because I don't have any more Lego space.
And
but
these motherfuckers are expensive, dog.
that's the Lego Premium.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
You get what you
I
pay
love
for.
Lego shit, but holy shit, it's you absolutely do. I
Yeah.
still have a fucking Carnage head,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is really fucking nice, but
Yeah.
god damn, did I spend money on this?
Yeah, you don't want to buy too much of it of Lego.
Yeah, or maybe you do want to buy too much of it, in which case you better be able to feed that habit. But what else? Was there?
The last thing was Luigi's Mansion 2 HD.
Did they show that?
Just the
didn't
release
actually
date.
watch the-
Just the release date.
Oh, just a release date. Okay.
Yeah, they just squirted out in like 10 seconds. Release date of Mario 1000 Year Door, release date of
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion 2, and also here are the 3 games coming to Switch
Okay.
Online.
So Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is a cool idea because the game needed a better controller. The 3DS is not the right controller for that game, in my opinion.
I'll still say, I find Luigi's Mansion 2 also boring as shit.
I also think it's boring as
Okay.
fuck. I had a really hard time finishing.
I would
game.
rather play with Luigi's Mansion 1 than Luigi's Mansion 2.
And that game broke my original DS's L button or R button.
There you go.
And I was like, why the fuck is my shit broken? Luckily, I got myself an XL like right after that, but I was just like, what was I just like?
I played that game when I went to my wife's dad's house in Colorado for a snowboard trip.
Yeah.
And I got so sick. I was like shitting, squirting out my ass every like hour and a half. And they literally like had some kind of fucking nickname like Mr. Poops a lot or something. And it was just like me and her parents because everybody else was snowboarding
and shit.
I was just shitting every hour and a half. And it was quite the way to meet her parents, or her dad and his girlfriend, longtime girlfriend. So that's my memory of it. I was just like playing it because it was the only game that I had like brought with me, and I was like, well, this tracks.
Well, this is
like it was a game that I played, and it got me through pain and suffering.
Yeah.
So. I have a fond experience, but I also still recognize that the game was boring as shit.
The problem with Luigi's Mansion 2 right now is that one, Luigi's Mansion 3 exists, and
Yes.
two,
Exactly that. People are gonna be like, "Oh, another Luigi's Mansion after this amazing game that I just played," and it's gonna be like, they'll get their sales figures up.
yeah. Fucking the game is meant to be all the missions are meant to be done in a very compact way because it's a handheld game.
Yeah.
Like a 3DS game specifically. But that ends up creating a situation where it's very repetitive.
Yes.
You just kind of go through the same areas over and over, and this time we're getting this one little boo over here, this time we're getting this gem here, this time we're doing that.
It's funny, that's the same issue Crisis Core had too.
Yeah, and not to slather on Crisis Core.
We don't have to talk about Crisis Core.
Yeah, it's just, there's
We're getting near the end
some
here.
Of its sensibilities.
It's a Mario day.
Yeah, some of its sensibilities are good ideas that don't really coalesce into something in the modern
in the modern era.
Yeah.
But Luigi's Mansion 2. I'm glad it's getting a re-release. I wish it was Luigi's Mansion 1.
I definitely would. They're not doing it, I feel like, because they just did it for 3DS.
Just did it on 3DS 5 years ago.
Was
6
that-
years ago.
That was 6 years ago?
That was many years ago. That was when the 3DS was still getting games. And that stopped
Why do I
getting
feel
games in
like
28 in 17 or 18?
Holy shit.
Nintendo
My
games
perception of
specifically.
time is not good.
Well, COVID fucked that all
COVID
up.
destroyed it. I guess everything that happened before COVID is just happened.
Yeah.
In my brain.
Yeah, I
The
got
last 4 years just happened.
Yeah. Consider
Not true of high schoolers' experience of life,
Yeah,
but
for real. That 10 years I
That's
thought was
that's
a long
fucking
time.
sad.
10 years is just nothing.
I
It's
feel
gone.
bad for anybody that went through basically under the age of 22. I feel bad for everybody
That went through.
that basically had to go
COVID.
through like COVID and recovery through
Yeah,
college or high school or any period
For
of
real.
their life younger than that.
That's actually a huge shame, and anyone who went through that, if you feel some kind of intense FOMO, I don't blame you.
Or anxiety or serious psychological disorder,
Yeah,
it's warranted.
If you need to talk to somebody about the situation you went through, maybe you don't even realize that it affected you because you have no other point of reference. Please just say something to somebody and take care of your mind, take care of your body.
That's right. State of health, state of mind.
Yeah, world is a rough ass place, and it's rougher for some people than others. But it's not a fucking competition to see who it can be more rough for. You don't need to tough out fucking everything. Just build up that support system. Make
That's
your
right.
shit work.
Reach
if you
out.
Can. Do your best. That's not what we're here to talk about today. But take care of yourselves.
Luigi's Mansion 1 for the 3DS.
Damn, Luigi's Mansion 1 came out on 3DS, and it was really just a soft prequel for Luigi's Mansion 3 because it was a software test for the Gooigi mechanic.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's Gooigi.
That was the appended.
living through the memory of Luigi's Mansion 1 to be functional in Luigi's Mansion 3. That was the narrative they had for it. And they should really, Luigi's Mansion 1 on GameCube still looks really nice.
Yeah.
just blasting that in HD on Switch would be
A no-brainer.
perfect. Yeah. The controls would need a little bit of retinkering because it uses the analog triggers from the GameCube. But other than that,
But again, they had it on 3DS. That didn't have analog.
exactly.
trigger.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
whatever they did on 3DS, they could just do it here.
Yeah.
And the game, and they could they could add GameCube controller support, man. Come on. And
It's true.
the
Depending on how they ported it, yeah.
exactly, they could not they could. I think having Luigi's Mansion 1 HD that isn't the 3DS version, or maybe both the 3DS version and the GameCube version, but that'd be too much to ask for. Game's really short. They wouldn't have to mess with the visuals too much. Just bring it up to 720p for handheld, 1080p for dock mode. Maybe increase the frame rate whatever works, and drop it on Switch for
40
$30. 40, sure, whatever.
The prime
If
price.
they do the Metroid Prime remaster situation, where they change all the graphics,
Yeah.
then sure, 40. But otherwise, if they do like a Mario Sunshine in Mario All Star situation, $20.
They would
It'd be
never
nice
do
to
20
just have
bucks.
It would never be 20.
It would never
It'd
be 20
fucking
bucks.
30, I know. Be 30 or 40, I know. I'm not stupid, but
One can hope.
when I want cheap shit, I'm honest about it, and I say it out loud.
Yeah. Yeah. But
yeah.
I mean, while we're at it, we're getting close to having all of the Mario shit on Switch. It's just every Mario day that passes, we're getting
We
closer.
get more shit.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows if this is the last hurrah for a Mario.
Luigi's
day
Mansion
with
1 would
Nintendo
feel
Switch.
good.
Yeah.
I will say the biggest omission for me on the Mario side, Mario Galaxy 2.
It's crazy that Mario Galaxy 2 still isn't available on Switch in some way. I know that they didn't really like making it. They thought it was boring to make.
Interesting. Is
But,
that in the interviews?
Yeah. I thought the game was great though.
I think it like dramatically improves
Yeah.
Galaxy 1,
Yeah.
dare I say.
I mean, it just has more going on.
Yeah. Everything that they added was a net value add. Like
Yeah.
more fun, more diversity.
Yeah.
Just like I think the only thing that maybe could be seen as a drawback is the overworld, like the map screen.
I don't even call that a drawback. It just gets me to the game faster.
Right.
It feels like there's more game.
I think
because
there's
of it.
benefits to it.
Yeah.
You could consider it a drawback just in the sense of like immersion, the idea of
Sure.
a hub world. Like I think people really liked Rosalina's observatory. Just the way that it all kind of like clicks together and like comes to life. Like that's a very Nintendo thing versus
Right.
just having a map screen.
But that observatory, I had been pining for Mario for Peach's Castle since I played Mario 64 like 10 years before Galaxy came out. 11 years since before Galaxy came out. And walking around Rosalina's observatory, it just feels like a tiny place.
Yeah.
Because you can see everything.
It
you
is
can get to
small,
everywhere.
yeah.
I was like, just give me the damn castle or don't give me anything at all. So
Right, yeah.
when Mario Galaxy 2 had a world map, I was like, oh fuck, it's more like the course clear games. I just pick a place, do the levels, keep it fucking moving.
Yeah.
Like I said, it felt like the levels were more densely packed together because of that. Because I was like, oh, I can see where everything is. I just select on the menu, checklist.
I think that specifically is probably why they probably have a negative perception from the developers end of the game.
Probably.
It's because it probably felt like a checklist. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It felt like just
make level, pump
make level,
out.
move forward. Even then, like on top of that, the story was a retelling. It was like a parallel universe of Mario Galaxy 1.
Yeah.
In fact,
They really had to kind of like
at the end
bend
of
some
Galaxy-
shit to make it work.
Well, at the end of Galaxy 2, it's like you create Galaxy 1.
You reset the universe.
Like the Rosalina's observatory gets made out of the
Right.
shit. But yeah, no. I think for some reason Nintendo is sour on Galaxy 2. I think it should have just been like in 3D All Stars.
Yes.
It should have been
Yes.
Mario 64, Sunshine, and then Galaxy 1+2.
Yeah.
Just make it one menu option, and then you pick between them
Right.
within the thing. I don't know.
In that game, I guess.
Yeah.
A second menu.
Yeah, but the only way to get that game through an HDMI cable is with a fucking Wii U. So
It's just why I still have it set up.
yeah, but it's not HD on that.
No.
It'll look good on a fucking OLED.
It looks fine.
Because Metroid Other M looked surprisingly fucking.
And sounded
great.
good too.
Yeah, it sounded good. It looked good. Other M is fine. I think there's some shitty shit about it, but overall the game's fine. The story, like video game stories, oftentimes are not good, That one is not good, but
I would go beyond fine. I would say Other M is good, and we can talk about it another time.
yeah, we'll talk about it another
Now that I've blasted through the game start to finish in one sitting
yeah,
for the first time ever,
for the first and only time ever.
I would say in the year 2024, it's a good game.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's been a solid hour. We're good.
Okay.
All right.
All
Do you have any kind of fan thing that you saw? Now's your chance because I don't have shit.
Honestly, I didn't consider it. So, I don't really, though.
Actually,
Someone
since we...
made
All right. Go ahead.
I was going to say. So, it's not really a higher fans thing. It's just someone made... so, the Mighty Number 9 didn't come out on 3DS or Vita, despite...
It being on the backer? Yeah.
So, some dude just said, all right, you know what? I'm just going to... I've never played the game. I've never touched the game. I've never seen the game. I'm just going to watch a YouTube video and recreate the first level with this.
Oh, that's what he did?
YouTube gameplay. And he recreated it on the 3D.
That's really funny.
And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I mean, it doesn't really look like it plays particularly well because he doesn't know how what the point of the mechanics are. Like,
right.
Dashing in that game was meant for you to kill enemies and you combo. And
Did you
points
play
with
that
it.
game
I
ever?
we and I played it on PS4.
Interesting. I've never touched it.
It
I'm
was,
never
like,
going to touch it.
discounted at Best Buy or some shit, and we're just like, let's just get it and try it. I don't think he still has it, but we have played it. You can check his trophy list. He probably has a couple from that game.
Interesting.
But yeah, no, I'd hire the dude if he could figure out. If you just look at the
Yeah. That's cool. That's better than my
just
higher
look at
fans
it
was going to be.
What would,
Mine was going to be, so I was like just talking about Steam Deck stuff with friends
oh
this
yeah,
past
yeah,
weekend.
that's right. Yeah.
And the higher fans I was going to do, what do you think I was going to say when you said that's right?
You're talking about Chiaki, right?
I was not talking about Chiaki, but that's a good one. I'm gonna call out Chiaki.
Okay.
Chiaki works better than Sony's native remote play,
Yeah,
which is
oops.
already decent.
Yeah.
Like I've used Sony's native remote play like across state lines in Florida, which is at least 3-4 states away
Yeah.
from. I guess
That's not
while
a-
everybody
that's-
knows generally where I live.
Yeah.
Chiaki ups the ante. It's still a little bit like techie to use.
Yeah.
But like it's come a long fucking way. You throw that shit, they have a fork of Chiaki, like a different development branch,
Yeah.
specifically for Steam Deck.
Yeah.
It's available in the Discover store. So setting it up nowadays compared to when it first started is like you click the button, it's an app store, it installs, you throw it into Steam, and then you go back to gaming mode and like you're
You
good.
just use it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Use
it
as
opens
if
up
it's a
in an
Steam app.
interface with like button icons for the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
You can navigate the whole thing with the controller, but like you have control over like configuring it for your internet. Like you can set the bit rate, which I personally really like because I have really good internet.
Because you like to just
I
blast it.
want
as
overhead.
high-
You know what I
yeah,
mean? I want that
exactly.
overhead.
You just want it to look as good as it possibly can.
Yeah, if there's spikes,
as much as it can possibly.
exactly,
push, yeah.
exactly. It's got codecs for HDR for PS5,
Mm-hmm.
which native remote play has, but is like it kind of works weird.
Yeah.
So it's got an HDR codec for the Steam Deck OLED specifically.
Yeah.
Or you can install Chiaki for Deck as a fork on your PC if you really want to.
Right.
Because apparently it works better than regular Chiaki now, because it's the one getting all the support.
Makes sense.
So I can get HDR pass through now from my PS5 into my Steam Deck OLED, which looks good as shit. It feels like I'm playing natively. It looks like I'm playing natively. It looks like I'm playing on a fucking television
Yeah,
screen.
you played through all of Death Stranding. using
Paid through
it.
all of Death
Yep.
Stranding
Well,
using
most
it.
of Death Stranding.
Like
using it.
90% of it, all until the end of
Yeah.
the game when I wanted to just look at it like it's a movie.
Have you played through some of Rebirth with it?
A little bit. I did some of the open world, like
Okay.
check
you
boxy
did-
type
right,
stuff.
Right. Yeah. Because I feel like Rebirth is a game you want to
Yeah.
be sitting on the couch.
Yeah,
big ass
yeah, yeah.
TV,
No, and it for
surround
sure
sound.
is.
Yeah.
Like I did, no spoilers, but I just got to the gold saucer.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I need to see this shit on my big
Yeah,
TV.
there's no
I
fucking
need to
way I'm
experience
gonna
this
let
shit
you
on my
do
big
it
TV.
handheld.
And I was grinning from ear to ear. I was like,
Yeah.
this is good shit. Everything about this is good as shit. Kate said this is good as shit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk anymore
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
Don't talk.
It's
about
good
it.
as hell. But Chiaki for Deck is insane. They enabled haptics that works with the Steam Deck. Actually, it'll like buzz and try to do
yeah,
like
yeah.
little the controller haptics of the DualSense.
It's a little weird.
It's a little jank
not
because Steam
perfect. I've
Steam Deck
tried it,
doesn't
yeah.
have the same degree of haptics
right.
physically
Exactly. Yeah.
that DualSense has. So like
Yeah.
some things buzz a little bit harder than you ever think it probably should.
Yeah.
There's definitely some kind of threshold mapping that it's
Right.
doing. But it's cool that it works and you can turn it on and off if you want. Obviously, it doesn't have adaptive triggers, but there's a way to simulate the adaptive triggers with the touchpad, which is funny as shit.
Yeah.
You can simulate how far you're holding it down,
far, yeah.
because it's actually like essential for some of the mini games
Right, yeah.
that use the haptics. You have to hold it down a certain amount. You can feel like the tension.
It's top, stop. Yeah, you can
you can feel the tension. Stop the button on the click.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that it does that native.
Holy shit.
That the last thing that it does that fucking native remote play still doesn't do, mind-bogglingly, is support wireless DualSense to your machine.
Yeah.
You have to fucking wire your DualSense into your computer to use your DualSense to basically use it. It won't detect a controller.
It won't detect it at all.
It won't detect a controller if it's connected via Bluetooth.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you gotta wire it in. You gotta plug it in. There's no DualSense connected. So the fact that Chiaki can do this shit wireless, so I can like throw my deck into a fucking dock, put it onto my on my monitor on some sort of device if I'm away from my house.
Yeah.
If I want to fucking just have my Steam Deck like near me on my lap, whatever it is, on a plane, pull out my fucking DualSense and have the full shit on a plane. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I don't think
Don't
that
worry
works.
about it. I'm going to use the fucking plane Wi-Fi, and I'm over plane Wi-Fi. I'm going to connect and stream at max bit rate to my PS5, and it's going to be great.
When the fucking light bulb cracked on that one, that was a funny face you made.
But it's cool as shit that you can wirelessly use your DualSense, and they're doing shit that the fucking native remote play app doesn't do, and it's mind blowing. And I don't know who they are. They're not selling it. They're not asking for Patreon.
Yeah.
He's just a man doing God's work, pushing the envelope, pushing technology forward, and it's fucking nice. I have so much respect for that developer, and I really do think that there's probably going to be a world 5 to 10 years in the future where like streaming gameplay, cloud streaming, whatever it is, whatever kind of streaming is going to be even more prevalent and maybe even a standard at some point.
Yeah, people have tried.
Yeah,
Stadia was
on
an
live
attempt, but it was Google. So.
On live is what native remote play is nowadays anyway. So we have the late 2000s, I guess, to thank for that. Yeah. So we'll see where we're at in 10 years. But yeah, hire that fucking developer. Sony, hire this man.
I can't believe we got such a positive hire fans this time. This dude was
We got to balance out the...
This dude was gushing. The floor is fucking wet. Jesus. Sorry. You can cut that. All right. Well, that was good. Let's end this.
Let's wrap it up. All right. So if you like the content, you like hearing our dulcet tones speaking to you over the airwaves, give us a like, a comment, a subscribe. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and YouTube channel.
YouTube.
Restreamed on YouTube.
Not streamed. It's just uploaded.
Reloaded on YouTube. Reshaded on YouTube.
Okay.
We're also at memoryleaguepodcast@gmail.com. Shoot us a note. Let us know what you want us to talk about.
Or just some of you fucking know me directly. Just fucking tell me.
No. Send him an email.
All right. Yeah.
memoryleaguepodcast@gmail.com.
We want to read email.
Okay.
All right. Well, I don't know what we'll talk about next time, but I thought this was good.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Until next time. Later, Gators.
Bye bye.